Friends, I need to share something with you that might shock you, but it could literally save your life. After 30 years in healthcare and reviewing thousands of medical studies, I've discovered that there's one massive lie that doctors have been telling people over 60 for decades. And this lie isn't just misleading you, it's actually making you sicker, weaker, and potentially shortening your precious golden years. Now, before we dive deep into this revelation, I want you to know that what I'm about to share flies in the face of everything your family doctor, cardiologist, and even Medicare guidelines have been telling you. But stick with me until the end of this video because I'm going to show you the real science, the suppressed studies, and most importantly, what you can actually do about it starting today. The lie I'm talking about affects over 54 million Americans over 60, costs our healthcare system billions in unnecessary treatments, and keeps pharmaceutical companies laughing all the way to the bank. But here's the thing, once you understand this deception, you'll never look at your next doctor's appointment the same way again. So what is this devastating lie that's been destroying the health of our senior population? It's this, that your cholesterol levels are the primary predictor of heart disease, and that you absolutely must take statin medications to lower your cholesterol if you want to live a long, healthy life. Now, I know what you're thinking. You've been told this by every doctor you've ever seen. Your Medicare supplements probably even remind you about cholesterol screening. Your prescription insurance makes these medications incredibly affordable because they want you taking them. But here's what they don't want you to know. A groundbreaking study published in the British Medical Journal followed over 68,000 people over 60 for more than 20 years. What they discovered will blow your mind. Seniors with the highest cholesterol levels actually lived longer than those with low cholesterol. Not only that, but those with the lowest cholesterol had significantly higher rates of cancer, depression, and cognitive decline. But it gets even more shocking. Another study from UCLA examined over 130,000 heart attack patients and found that 75% of them actually had normal or low cholesterol levels when they had their heart attack. Let me repeat that. 3/4 of heart attack victims had cholesterol levels that doctors would consider perfectly healthy. So if cholesterol isn't the villain we've been told it is, why are doctors still pushing these medications on virtually every American over 60? Follow the money, friends. Statin medications generate over $20 billion annually for pharmaceutical companies. That's billion with a B. And here's something your doctor probably hasn't told you about these so-called safe medications. The side effects of statins, especially for people over 60, are absolutely devastating. Muscle pain and weakness affect up to 30% of users. Memory problems and cognitive fog impact nearly 40% of seniors taking these drugs. And perhaps most terrifying of all, statins deplete your body's natural production of coenzyme Q10, an essential nutrient your heart muscle desperately needs to function properly. But here's where this gets really personal for you. As we age past 60, our bodies naturally produce less cholesterol because we actually need it more than ever. Cholesterol is essential for hormone production, brain function, and cellular repair. When we artificially lower it with medications, we're essentially accelerating the aging process and increasing our risk of the very conditions we're trying to prevent. Now, you might be wondering, if cholesterol isn't the real enemy, what is actually causing heart disease in people over 60? The answer will surprise you because it's something most doctors barely test for, and Medicare often doesn't fully cover the comprehensive testing you need. The real culprits are inflammation, insulin resistance, and oxidative stress. These are the true killers that are silently destroying your cardiovascular system while you're focused on a cholesterol number that may be completely irrelevant to your actual health. Chronic inflammation, measured by markers like C-reactive protein and homocysteine, is a far better predictor of heart attack risk than cholesterol ever was. Insulin resistance, which develops slowly over decades and affects over 80% of Americans over 65, creates a cascade of metabolic dysfunction that leads directly to heart disease, diabetes, and cognitive decline. And oxidative stress caused by processed foods, environmental toxins, and chronic stress literally rusts your arteries from the inside out, while cholesterol is just trying to repair the damage. Here's what really makes me angry about this whole situation. While your doctor is obsessing over your cholesterol numbers and pushing expensive medications with dangerous side effects, the real solutions for preventing heart disease after 60 are being completely ignored. These solutions don't require a prescription, they're not expensive, and they actually make you feel better instead of worse. But because they can't be patented and don't generate billions in profits, the medical establishment pretends they don't exist. The first real solution is addressing chronic inflammation through targeted nutrition. Omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, from high-quality fish oil, can reduce inflammatory markers by up to 40% in just 8 weeks. But not just any fish oil will do. You need pharmaceutical-grade, molecularly distilled supplements that are tested for purity and potency. The second solution is reversing insulin resistance through strategic intermittent fasting, combined with a Mediterranean-style eating pattern. Studies show this approach can improve insulin sensitivity by over 50% in seniors within just 12 weeks, dramatically reducing heart disease risk, while also improving energy, mental clarity, and even sexual function. The third solution is supporting your body's natural antioxidant systems with specific nutrients that become critically deficient as we age. Coenzyme Q10, which I mentioned earlier gets depleted by statin drugs, is absolutely essential for heart health after 60. But you also need magnesium, vitamin K2, and vitamin D3 at optimal levels, not just the minimal amounts needed to prevent deficiency diseases. Now, I want to be crystal clear about something. I'm not telling you to stop taking medications without talking to your doctor first. What I am telling you is that you have the right to know the truth about these medications, their risks, and the alternatives that exist. You have the right to demand comprehensive testing that goes beyond basic cholesterol panels. You have the right to explore nutritional interventions before accepting a lifetime of prescription medications. And you have the right to work with healthcare providers who understand that optimal health after 60 requires a completely different approach than what worked in your 30s and 40s. The pharmaceutical companies and the medical establishment are counting on you to accept their narrative without question. They're betting that you'll be too intimidated to challenge their authority or too overwhelmed to seek out better information. But you're not intimidated, are you? You didn't get to 60 or beyond by accepting things at face value. You've lived long enough to know that the people in charge don't always have your best interests at heart. And now you have the information you need to take control of your health destiny. In my next video, I'm going to reveal the 3 specific blood tests that are far more important than cholesterol for predicting heart disease in people over 60. These tests could literally save your life, but most doctors don't order them, and some insurance plans try to avoid covering them. I'll show you exactly what to ask for and how to interpret the results yourself. I'm also going to share the exact supplement protocol that I personally recommend for my viewers over 60 who want to optimize their cardiovascular health naturally. This isn't generic advice you'll find everywhere else. This is a targeted strategy based on the latest research specifically for seniors who refuse to accept that declining health is just part of getting older. Your health is your most precious asset, especially now in your golden years. Don't let anyone convince you that you have to trade your vitality for the false promise of safety through prescription medications. You have more power over your health destiny than you've been led to believe. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on because this information could literally add years to your life and life to your years. And if this video opened your eyes to something you didn't know before, please share it with someone you care about who's over 60. They deserve to know the truth too.